Hey everyone! Alright, so here's a video on how to actually clean your brushes. Now, when you clean your brushes, there's many ways you can do it. Again, there's tons of different brush cleansers out there that you can use. So I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks on how to actually clean your brushes. What you use and how you do it is going to be totally up to you. But with your brushes, now some people like to clean them after every single use. Some people like to clean them after 2 uses. I recommend doing it at least after you use it twice. Again, you can go longer. It's going to be up to you the time frame in which you clean your brushes. But cleaning the brushes after you use them is just going to help. It's going to remove bacteria and everything, so you're not going to put any of that on your face. So whenever you decide to clean your brushes, it's going to be the sooner the better, pretty much. And then another thing you want to take into consideration on top of how often you clean your brushes is what kind of brush cleanser you're using. Now, you want something that has a form of alcohol in it to disinfect, but you also don't want tons and tons of alcohol and nothing but alcohol, so it doesn't dry out the bristles on your brush. You want something that's got some form of conditioning agent in it, or something that just will condition anything like that, so make sure you keep an eye out for all of that on top of something that has alcohol to help disinfect and get rid of bacteria. So what I like to do, I use my brushes once, then I spot clean them. And the way that you can spot clean is you can just take a tissue. So I just have a tissue. Then you can take your favorite brush cleanser, and I just put mine in a tiny little spray bottle. That way I can travel with this as well, because it's only 2 ounces, so I can take it in my carry-on. That way I have it with me, but you can leave it in the bottle or whatever, and then either pour some onto the tissue, or in my case, I'm just gonna do a few sprays of it. Then you can take your brush, which is dirty, and then you just rub the brush on the tissue. So you can see all that nastiness is coming out. Then when you're done doing that, you can see my brush is kind of distorted. It was like leaning against something earlier, so the bristles are now bent. You can just go in and squeeze it to reshape it while it's still got some moisture on it, and that way when it dries, it'll have a better shape. Otherwise, you can use something like any kind of slip that you can put on it. Like, I know the brush guard, I actually have a few of those. They sent me some, and I've been trying them out, and I actually like them, and they're great for travel. I'll do a whole nother video on that to talk about those more, but yeah, so that's how you would spot clean. So I do this after every use, so after I do any kind of makeup, I spot clean. If you're going to do makeup on another person, clean your brushes after you use it. Like, right after you use it, clean your brushes. So there's how you spot clean. And then another thing I do, which I'll actually show you right now, and I do this once a week, I do a soak for my brush. And all I do is I just take a glass, and then I fill that glass with 1 part of brush cleanser, and then 2 parts water. Then what I do once I have that in my glass, I just take my brushes that have already been spot cleaned, and I just let them sit in there and soak for a good 5 minutes. Then once I'm done letting them soak, I just take them and I rinse them out underneath the faucet. Once I'm done rinsing, I just shape my brushes, because again, you want them to retain their shape. And once they're shaped, I just set them on a paper towel on the counter or a clean towel that was laid out. Then another thing that I do is once a month, but you can do this more often, but you only really need to do it like once a month, especially if you're just using your brushes on yourself, is deep cleaning. And with deep cleaning, you can use a very, very mild baby shampoo. I wouldn't recommend really using anything else, only because baby shampoo is gentle. It doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, so it won't really damage or do anything to your bristles. And the way you do this is actually really simple, and I'm going to show you that right now as well. All you do is just go ahead and start your water and get it at a temperature that you can handle on your hands. Then just take your dirty brush and pre-soak it just by putting it underneath the faucet. Then once you have that done to all of your brushes, go ahead and put a little bit of your baby shampoo either in a little dish, so you can dip the brushes in there, or just put it in the palm of your hand. Then once you have that in the palm of your hand, just go ahead and take your dirty brush, pick up a little bit of the shampoo, and then swirl it around back and forth on your fingers to build up a nice lather. And this is just going to clean the brush. If you need to rinse, go ahead and rinse, otherwise just keep lathering. Once you have that done to all of your brushes, go ahead and turn your water back on. And then just rinse all of your brushes underneath the faucet until the water runs clear and there are no suds left on the bristles. Then once the brush is clean, just go ahead and shape it so that way it will retain its shape while it's drying. Otherwise you can slip on one of your brush covers. Then you can just take it, set it on your clean paper towel or the towel that you laid out and let it dry overnight or just for a few hours. And then one other thing, it's the last thing actually, and that's for reusable sponges. Now there are some sponges that you can reuse over and over a few times. Some of them are single use. Now you want to make sure that it is a brush you can rinse and reuse, otherwise it will start to fall apart. It's just not cool, but I actually have one of the beauty blenders and I love it. And yeah, you can actually rinse that one out over and over, and you can get a special cleanser for it. I actually got it at iMats, and I got the one with the cleanser since the deal was going to be cheaper than buying just the sponge alone at a store. So this is how you would clean that. Just go ahead and take your beauty blender or your reusable sponge and run it underneath water for a little bit to absorb some of that moisture. Then just go right in and take your cleanser with the beauty blender. They have a special cleanser you can purchase. Otherwise, you can just use your baby shampoo again. And then just run that in your hands, move it around to build a nice lather. Once it's nice and lathered and clean, just go ahead, rinse it, and keep squeezing it, letting it soak up water, squeeze it. Just keep repeating that process because since it is a sponge, there are going to be tons of suds absorbed inside of it. So once that starts to run clear, there's no suds in the water, just go ahead and take the little stand that it came with, or you can just put it on any ventilated area and then let it dry. And there you go, that's all I do and that's all I know. So hope this was helpful to some of you, and until my next video, I will see all of you soon. Bye.